Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Community Report. I am Dari Idu. Every society presents both opportunities and challenges, but for people living with disabilities, the struggle for equal access remains a persistent issue. Yet, despite these barriers, trailblazers across various fields are redefining what's possible and challenging the status quo. Also, there are individuals dedicated to empowering others, ensuring no one is left behind. In this episode, we spotlight this remarkable individual, celebrating their achievement, exploring their unique skills, and understanding the motivations that drive them, as well as the challenges they overcome every day.
Persons with disabilities in Nigeria, including those with Down syndrome, face stigma and discrimination, which can lead to low self-esteem, depression, and isolation.
What are you saying?
We visited the Down Syndrome Foundation, established in 2001 as a non-governmental, non-political, and not-for-profit organization providing support for persons with Down syndrome and intellectual disabilities by fostering a community that includes parents, guardians, caregivers, and other stakeholders with a shared interest.
Promise, he reveals to you an aspect of his goodness.
I'm a parent of a young lady born with a condition called Down syndrome. And when she was born here in Nigeria, I found out that even in the medical circle, little or nothing was known about that condition. And I decided right there and there that I was going to make a difference. The reason being that I had lived in a more structured society, that there's support and there's so much awareness created around everything that you are aware of what you have. But in our society, maybe due to cultural reasons and possibly at times due to religious reasons and ignorance, a lot of things are not properly addressed. And Down syndrome happens to be one of those. And that was the reason why I decided when my daughter was born and I saw that there was no information to give to me as a parent or the larger society, I said there was then the need to put a structure on ground to be able to help other families. And that was how Down Syndrome Foundation, it started as an association and we grew into a foundation. We have four main focuses. That's early intervention medically, early intervention educationally, early social integration, and of course, we also need to get them to be properly integrated in the society for them to live fulfilled lives like other people. So that's what we are here for.
I think you've summed it up quite well. So let's now talk about what the challenges are, because again, you are working based on the fact that you've been able to identify some challenges and you're now working to ensure that we as a nation we get better. So what are those challenges?
They are numerous. Where do I start from? Societal negative attitude, even within the family. A lot of families segregate children born with Down syndrome, specifically, and other disabilities. You see that they tend to hide them away. They don't allow them socialize. And two, there's no provision made to take care of their unique need medically. For example, let me use Down syndrome as a case to discuss. People born with Down syndrome are predisposed to a lot of medical issues. More than 60% of children born with Down syndrome are predisposed to what we call congenital heart defect, or what is commonly called hole in the heart, which if it is not corrected in time, they will die. We've lost so many of our children Presently, as we are talking, in this country, we do not have any health facility that can take care of that need. In the past, we used to take our children out of the country to get that procedure carried out. But of course, presently we can't do that anymore because of course, the obvious reasons of funds and so on. I see a bright future, a very bright future. We are not where we were 24 years ago, but we are not where we should be. It's still work in progress. And I believe there had been, one thing I must say is that there had been a positive shift in the mindset of the general public and society at large regarding issues to do with disability and specifically intellectual disability or Down syndrome, because their own is so obvious. You know, you do have some disabilities that are hidden, you don't know that they have, but their own is obvious. Their gait, their speech, the way they reason and so on, you would know that they have disability, intellectual disability. But people are accepting them. Okay, for example, last week, is it this week? We had the inter-house sports. Previously, when we invite parents to come, you would just find a couple of parents, if at all they turn up. Their own is to just come, drop the children and disappear. But nowadays, we could count so many parents that turn up and they were very actively involved in everything. And that's a positive change because the change has to come from within. If the family does not accept the child, of course, you can't expect the public to accept that child.
Hi, Dari. You're welcome to Access Tech Innovation and Research Center.
Individuals continue to break boundaries.
In here is our training lounge where persons with disabilities can learn different digital skills from Microsoft for productivity tools to Python for data analysis. Okay. Also, apart from the group trainings, we also provide executive classes for professionals who lose their sight in their professional period. So the 2 rooms there are for the professional classes.
Meet Opelu Akinola, a visually impaired computer engineer. Yes, you heard right. Opelu runs the center in Surulere area of Lagos alongside his wife Emanuela, where they teach digital skills and provide assistive technology for persons with disabilities. Detailed, tech-savvy, and passionate, Opelu shares his inspiring journey into the world of technology.
Back in the day, when I was a young graduate, I was trying to get a job. And I went through interviews and all that, but somehow I was being rejected. So I was lucky to have had access to the CEO of one of the oil companies that rejected my application. And so I had to find out what happened. And what he explained was they did not know how I was going to function in the office because my job was going to require reading documents. And the documents were in print back then. So some years after that interview, I discovered what we call optical character recognition, which is when you use computers to read print. If you check my table, you see I think I have an OC. Okay, I have a camera. Where is the camera? Oh, you moved it. Okay. Okay, good. So this camera, this is an OCR camera. And this essentially, I place a book under this, and then I issue a command on my computer. It scans what is on the book, and then the software on my computer converts it to legible text. So I can now read it. So if I had this back then, I would have got that job. Well, probably I would have got the job, barring any other thing. And so when I remember that experience, after that experience and I discovered this technology, and also the fact that there were many other things coming up in terms of technology that would help blind people especially to work, to study, and to do things more easily. I made up my mind that I was going to find out how to use those things, to see how to get it. In fact, basically, I just said, look, no other blind person is going to have to miss an opportunity if I have anything to do with it. If it's something technology can do, then the person has a right to know and to enjoy it. I actually studied history. Initially, I worked for another NGO run by white people who are married to Nigerians, the Niger Wives Association. And then at the Niger Wives Center, that was the first organization that started teaching blind people how to use computers in Nigeria. So it was like they just said, okay, when I heard of the job opening, I applied and they hired me. I knew very little about computers back then. It was on the job that I trained. I've been doing this for quite a lot of years before we set up this center. We call this an Assistive Technology Experience Center. So like I said, it's a long time thing. I mean, there are so many people. I don't want to drop names, but I mean, if I were to drop names, you will know some of them. They are very popular people who have who I have helped with technology, and they're doing the things they're doing. They are really good at what they're doing, and they are doing very well in their fields. They've made careers, and some have gone into private business with the technology skills and all that. So since we opened the center specifically, we have people who have improved on their job. We have people who are in school and whose ability to study have improved because now they're using computers. Imagine a blind person having a computer. Is a lot of difference. Now you have access to study materials in real time, unlike before when you have to get your materials either recorded or transcribed into Braille before you can access it. Now you just put it on the computer. The lecturer is sending emails to you. You're reading your email the same time with your sighted colleagues. And then you can also go online. You can access the digital library and get materials. And it has improved a lot of people's lives. I know some people who are doing their PhD who have enrolled on courses in our center for their data analysis as blind people. And they were very happy because now they can use Excel to do their data analysis for their projects. There are people who are working, who are also working in other areas, and they've come here to learn skills that are specific to their own professions, and they've improved on what they're doing. So it's a lot of work, and you know, it's apart from geographically, we've also reached even beyond Nigeria. We tried an experiment last year. We had a Python for data analytics training, and we wanted it to be online. And we were surprised that we had subscriptions from Uganda, from Kenya, from Rwanda, from Ghana, and of course all over Nigeria. And we're able to train 28 people graduated from that particular course successfully, doing all the exercises and all the projects and all. And somebody in our center was able to even create an app, a typing tutor app out of that training.
I'm already thinking, oh, where do I go from here? Do I need to go look for that person? So talk to us about the research part of what you do.
Okay, so when I started this job, there were not a lot of people who could use computers, but that was just the beginning. Then computers were getting spoiled, and there weren't a lot of people that could fix the things that people were using. So now that lent another. Then there were a lot of technologies developing, and people did not know about them. So it's very sad when you see somebody that lost an opportunity when there was something they could have used and they didn't know about it. And so when I started my job, I started finding people were calling me all the time to ask about things. And it was like, Yoruba will say, "Wọ́n lè pè ládìyẹ kó má lè gbá, wọ́n lè pè láwòdì kó má lè gbé adìyẹ." And so I said, no, people can't be calling me. Some of them, for them, it was like their last hope, the last person they expected. And then I don't have the information. So that's when we went into research. But initially, my first experience of this kind of research was when I trained to be a computer engineer back in about year 2000 when I was working for the NGO that I mentioned, the Niger Wives Center. And then, you know, it was an NGO. People were donating all kinds of computers to us, and some of the computers were on their last legs. So when we want to use it, something happens. And so I told my boss, I said, look, I have to start fixing computers. I said, no, don't you ever open a computer in this office. So I paid a computer engineer, one of the engineers that used to come to the office to help us repair computers. I paid him. So with my money, we went to buy all the components of a computer at the computer village then. And we settled down. I built my first computer. I installed all the programs on it and all that under his guidance. And immediately we finished that project. I knew I was ready. So once we had a job in the office and it was a deadline kind of thing, and the computer that we were using to produce broke down. So I told my boss, I said, why don't you let me just give it a try? He said, well, I suppose we can't be worse than we are right now. So So, well, luckily I was able to fix the computer. And since that day, till I left the center, all the computers I was fixing it, even the braille embossers like this machine here, is made in Sweden. I started fixing it. When the engineers came to Nigeria to train Nigerians on how to maintain their machine, the man saw me there and said, "Ah, I know you now. Why are you here?" I said, I'm one of the trainees." He said, "No, you are one of the facilitators. So you come to this side." So he put me, so I co-facilitated that training.
So, is your computer now, is it a computer specifically built for purpose, or is it a generic one?
So this is a standard Lenovo laptop. And that's what we try to encourage. That it's standard, we use as much standard technology as possible because that's more available, isn't it? So this is a standard computer. Now what I have on it is going to talk out, okay, yeah. Okay, so I'll just increase the volume. I'm just pressing the arrow keys.
2x3 table 16 of 40, 2x4 table 23 of 42.
So it's like I want to insert a table into a Microsoft Word document and okay, so it's a table.
Word. Microsoft Word document edit multi-line table with 4
Okay, so you say this is a table.
The Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities Act, signed into law in 2019, was a major step towards protecting the rights of PWDs. The law mandates public buildings to be accessible, prohibits discrimination in employment, and guarantees equal rights in education and health care. However, enforcement has been slow and compliance remains inconsistent across the country.
So whatever is showing on the screen, the software is saying it, so I can know what is on the screen, and because of that, I can operate the computer.
Assistive technology for the visually impaired includes both high-tech and low-tech devices designed to enhance independence and improve quality of life.
When you buy a standard computer, it comes with a screen reader called Narrator. For any computer from Windows 8 upwards, and of course for Apple products, you have VoiceOver that comes inbuilt into the computer. So it's for people to learn that it exists and then learn how to use it. So that's essentially what we do.
The typing part, you already learned that you know the
Keys where they
the,
oh yes, I've been typing on my okay. So the typing came in primary school. We learned how to use interpreters back in those days, and we're using interpreters to type our exam scripts when we went to mainstream schools. But
so you're a secretary.
I'm blind, totally blind.
Ibrahim Olalekon is one of those who have benefited from this center's initiative. Now he codes and also teaches others programming languages.
First, I feel good that I'm a productive member of the society. That is in the first, because what is worth doing well. So, and as a human being, when the work of your hand creates values, changes lives, there's this feeling it gives you when people you've trained calls you or call you that, oh, thank you, the training you gave to me made me who I am today. It just makes me happy. So in all that, as a blind person, I can wake up in the morning, dress up, and set out for work, just like every other person. It makes me know that I have no limits. I can do anything.
I was going to say that. No limits.
No limits. So every other person, you wake up, you dress, you tell people, oh, I'm going to work. Then you come back in the evening, just like every other person, to people welcome you, how is work, So that feeling alone, compared to somebody who is blind and is just, I don't want to say confined to a space at home, no hope, no nothing. So, but as a person who can contribute, who can even develop others, create impact in the society, I'm excited. I feel happy about it.
How did it start?
Okay, as growing up, my father is late now. He was a tailor, not a fashion designer. He was a tailor.
Okay.
So my father was a tailor, and that I was born into that profession, into that occupation. So I was with him, always learning under him. Then along the way he died, so I was taken to his friend, to continue the journey. And because I grew up in a town in Iseyin, so all my life was okay. I wanted to become a tailor
That's
until
okay.
okay. Yeah. So I wanted to become a tailor. My dad was a tailor, and I don't want to fail him. That was the feeling at that time. Then the sight condition started, and I lost it. So I stopped going to school. I stopped going to school in primary 6. So I lost it, and well, should I say I was then I couldn't. I was not taking. I lost my sight due to lack of care, to glaucoma. So because after my dad died, and there was nobody to take me to the hospital again. My mom was in Lagos, not knowing what was going happening to me in the village. So when she got to know, that was like 4, 5, 6 years ago after. So she asked me to come. I came to Lagos, started going to school, but at that time it was too late. So I was pronounced blind, and so I was also at home for like a few years too before somebody told me that okay, I can continue my education. So I was taken to a partially school for the blind in Surulere. So that I did my rehabilitation there for 1 year. Then from there I moved to Ijanikin. So 6 years, then Unilag, University of Lagos. So while in Unilag, I had a few experiences that changed my course, from tailoring, from wanting to be a tailor to somebody that want to be in tech. So we were in one of the classes, we were having social statistics, a calculation course, and the lecturer was just teaching others, not carrying me along. Okay, add this, pointing at the board, add this plus this, divide this, do this. I had to say, sir, I don't know what you are saying. Can you please describe what you are? Just mention the numbers. Don't be saying this, that, this. And he said no, that I was not employed to teach me, that I should, if I want to learn calculation, I should talk to my friends after class. So that was there. I started looking for ways to do stuff myself, and then I was introduced to Excel, using Excel for calculation. Then I paid for a class, started learning with others, and then from there. So that one alone exposed me to things that are possible that people ordinarily think they are not possible. For a blind person, you want to do calculation, you want to operate computers and others, you want to go into tech. So from there I said, no, me too, I have to develop myself first, then before I can start developing others.
Yeah, and so far you've been doing so.
Yes, sir.
So
Thank God.
talk to us about your journey here and what you have been able to do.
Okay, my journey here has been a journey of growth and development. So I came here, well, half-baked, even as a staff. I came here half-baked, but the little I had, I continued to develop it. Then there came a time where the company organized a Python training for the blind. So I was lucky to be part of the first cohort, and after that, from the knowledge I got from that Python training, I was able to use it to, develop a keyboard mastery software that we use in-house here to train our trainees. So apart from teaching teaching blind persons computer skills such as data analysis, Microsoft Office, tools. So I can also use Python, the knowledge of my Python programming, to develop a few things. I'm still developing it, and then I can also use it to teach others. I can teach others how to code.
For someone like you, you probably know a whole lot. You are from that community, so you have met a whole lot of people.
Yes, I have bosses. At least the person that taught me how to code, how to program, is also a blind person as well. Wow. So yes, and he's working in a fintech company. He's their software developer.
Beyond this center, Opelu and other professionals with disabilities are actively advocating for inclusivity. Their efforts focus on creating accessible environments, ensuring digital and communication materials incorporate features like braille signage, screen readers, and alternative text for images.
Now you have arranged those lines on the computer screen, and then there are some other things you can do to the information on your screen, because we have what we call formatting. And what formatting basically does is to make it easy for someone who is looking at your script to understand the layout of your screen, to also get more information, and also it makes your work beautiful. So some of the things we use for formatting will be fonts, we have how to bold and all that. So let us try and bold one of the lines on the screen, for example. So can you select, okay, so you know how to select a line.
Page 1, section 1. This is
Move your cursor to the beginning of the line so that you're sure. Then, okay, so let's select line 1. So move your cursor to press the home key to be sure that the cursor is at the beginning. Okay, then press the shift key. Hold down the shift key and press down arrow. Okay, so that is selected. So usually when you want to apply some of the formatting attributes, you will select, then you apply. So let's assume that we want to bold this one so that it looks bigger on the screen. So the command for that will be Ctrl plus B. Now that it is selected, now let's do Ctrl plus B. Good, bold on. Okay, so now that you're bolded, move your cursor, press your down arrow, let the cursor move away from it so that it will be... Okay, so for someone who is seeing it, it will look different on the screen. But let's go up and find out for ourselves using our screen reader what has happened. Move.
This is the line 2.
Okay, up.
This is the line 1.
Okay, so this is the line that we bolded. So what you are going to do, we want to find out about it. Did it bold or did it not bold? So on your computer, you use the caps lock, which is your NVDA key, plus caps lock plus F. So you had that Z bold. So that tells you that has happened. So even if it's a document that is not your own document, you want to find out what kind of formatting they applied in certain places, then you'll be able to also use your screen reader to know it.
With an unrelenting commitment to providing tools and solutions, these individuals strive to foster a society where persons with disabilities can thrive without limitation, continuously working towards a more inclusive future.
And that's our show for today, everyone. If you miss any part of it, you can watch it on our YouTube channel. You can also follow the conversation on our social media platforms displayed on the screen. Thank you very much for watching. I am Dari Idu. See you next time, and bye for now.